All right, let's just do a little quick review of what we just watched in the video. First, let's start with a cube. So these are three-dimensional figures. So that means something that you can hold in your hand is a three-dimensional figure. So if you remember from the video, every cube is made up of 6 faces. So those are the flat sides of the three-dimensional figure. And in a cube, the faces are always squares. So here's an example of that. So I have some squares here. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So if I bring these up, I can make a cube. So 6 faces on a cube, and each one is a square. A cube also has 12 edges and 8 vertices. And in the video, they also called the vertices corners. Okay, so here's an example of a cube showing the vertices and the edges. So you can see that we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 vertices, and we have 12 edges. The 4 going across the top here to make this square, 1, 2, 3, 4. The 4 going down from each of the top vertices to the bottom vertice, so that would be 5, 6, 7, and 8. Then the 4 at the bottom to make the bottom face. 9, 10, 11, 12. So again, a cube has 6 faces, 12 edges, and 8 vertices. The next one we're going to go over is a rectangular prism. So here I have an example of a rectangular prism. It's a box. And a rectangular prism and a cube have the same types of attributes, but they're just made up of different shapes. So a rectangular prism has 6 faces, and those faces can be all rectangles, or they can be 4 rectangles, and 2 squares. So if you look at a box of foil, it is a rectangular prism, but the sides of it are squares. Here's a rectangular prism that all the faces are rectangles. None of them are squares. Okay, so we're just gonna label the faces. So this would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Another example to show the edges and vertices of a rectangular prism is right here. So remember that a rectangular prism also has 12 edges and 8 vertices. So the purple circles are the vertices. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then the edges are all of the bars here. So across the top, 1, 2, 3, 4. Going down, 5, 6, 7, 8. And across the bottom, 9, 10, 11, 12. So a rectangular prism has 6 faces, 12 edges, and 8 vertices. The next one we have is a square pyramid. And a square pyramid is named a square pyramid because it has a square on the bottom on its base. And a square pyramid has 5 faces. 1 is a square, and 4 are triangles. And to show the 5 faces, we have 1, 2, 3, 4 triangles and the square base in the middle. And when we bring these up, the triangles come together at the top. Here's an example showing the edges and the vertices. So a square pyramid has 8 edges, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and it has 5 vertices, 1, 2, 3, 4, and the last one on the top is 5. So 8 edges and 5 vertices. Square pyramid. The next one is a triangular pyramid. The triangular pyramid has 4 faces. It's named that because at the bottom we have a triangle, and you can see 4 triangles. When they come together, we have a pyramid. Okay. Now I don't have an example of this with the edges and vertices, but we'll still count the vertices. We have 1, 2, 3, and 4 vertices, and the edges 1, 2, 3 across the bottom, then 4, 5, and 6. So 4 faces, 6 edges, and 4 vertices. Again, the 4 faces are all triangles, 6 edges, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Vertices, 1 at the top, 2, 3, and 4. The next one is the triangular prism. So a pyramid comes together at the top at one point. A prism does not. So here is an example of what would become a triangular prism. So if we look at these shapes, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So we have 5 faces. When we put these together and build this, okay, so again, 5 faces. The edges are where the faces come together. So on this side, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, and then 7, 8, and 9. So 9 edges. And vertices, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. 6 vertices. In a triangular prism, 2 faces are triangles, and 3 faces are rectangles. Triangular prism. The next 3D shape is a cone, and I did not have a lot of good examples, so I made a cone here. It's not perfect. Here's another one made out of some sand. So a cone has one face, and that is at the bottom, and it is a circle. It also has what we call a rounded surface here. Okay, but we don't say that it's a face because all faces are made up of shapes. So a cone has 0 edges, and we do consider the tip of the cone a vertex, so that it has 1 vertex. Our next one is a cylinder. A cylinder has 2 faces, and those faces are always going to be circles. Here's an example of a cylinder. The top and the bottom, or the base, are the 2 circles that are faces. We also say that it has a rounded surface here. It has 0 edges and 0 vertices, since we don't have any corners. So just 2 faces for our cylinder. And we can say that it has a rounded or curved surface. So our last one is the sphere. A sphere has 0 faces, 0 edges, and 0 vertices. Here is an example of a sphere. So there aren't any flat surfaces, so it doesn't have any faces. So no faces, no edges, no edges, no vertices. Sphere.